Hello everyone. Alright, today I'm going to revisit my build your own sanctuary house build. The first one that I did, which I'll have a link to at the end of this video and also in the description, was really for PC and Xbox users since I used a mod that was only available for those platforms. However, in this video I will be using a mod called Unlock Settlement Objects. You all should be familiar with those mods. They are pretty awesome, and the best thing about them is that they are available on all platforms, specifically PS4. So in this video, I only have mods that are available on all platforms enabled. Everything else is turned off. So with that said, I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of what I built, and then I'll come back and show you guys the full build. So let's take a look. Alright, so let's get into the build. I went ahead and laid down the foundation, which is 4x3 with a half warehouse floor right here by the stairs. And we're going to start off with concrete walls. Now with Unlock Settlement Objects, we get a few different textures for them, and I was going to use this white brick texture, but after I put up the other walls, I didn't really like the way that it blended in, so I'm going to use the marble ones since they're not as bright, but really you guys can use whichever ones you want. Keep in mind, this is just a template, so if you don't like any of the objects I used, you can always change them in your build. Alright, so I want these walls to be flush with the floor. See how it's kind of sitting inside the floor, and I want this one over here to do the same thing. Now you'll see that the overlapping textures are flickering a little bit. Don't worry, I fixed that later. But the reason why I wanted to do that is because most of the sanctuary houses that are already here have this same kind of setup. Let's take a look at this one over here, for example. See how this one off to the right is really the same setup. This one sticks out a little bit further, and then the one on the far left is flush with the other walls. So that's what I kind of mirrored with this build, which mirrored is just a fancy word for stole. I'm just gonna finish putting up these walls. Alright, so if you go into the USO tab, under Structures Wood, you'll find a ton of different walls to choose from. I was originally going to use these blue walls, which you can still use. They look really cool and go so well with this build. But as I was looking through all of these, I found a tab called Home of the Future, which gives you pre-war and post-war walls to choose from. Now, you only get 3 walls for each color, but we can still make them work. The only problem I have found with this mod is that I can't get the half walls to snap. Do you guys have that problem? It kind of drives me crazy, but I can't complain too much because they are very forgiving. I was able to make them work just by lining them up, but damn, it would have been so much easier if they just snapped. Alright, anyways, I'm going to place these walls down, line up the half walls the best that I can, and I'll be right back. Okay, that was kind of long, but I wanted to leave everything in there just to show you guys how I made the half walls work without snapping. Now for this part, we're going to cover up where it's flickering. I discovered that if you place these half walls just right, they will line up perfectly underneath the window. Watch this. In just a second, it's going to turn green. Just watch. It's going to happen. Oh, there it is. There it is. Look at it. And you see that it's sticking right into the wall. So it's flat up against it. We can inch it over a bit to line it up, and it covers up that part. Plus the blue trim underneath the window makes it look even more like an actual sanctuary house. Yeah, this side was being a bitch, man. It took forever. I had to place down a ladder and stand above it to get the right angle, but I'm not going to make you guys sit through this. Ah, there we go. Alright, this next part is a little complicated. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not using any of the mods I normally use, such as Workshop Rearranged. That's turned off. I'm only using USO and a few others like Scrap Fallout and OC Decorator, all of which are available on PS4. I mentioned that again because Workshop Rearranged greatly improves the snapping system, where I can snap things together that I normally couldn't do. Like, I could snap a floor to the top of these walls, but the vanilla system isn't built like that. I have to use a roof or an upper floor. And I haven't seen a mod on PS4 that improves the snapping system the same way. So, to get a roof on here without any gaps is going to be a little challenging because I'm using concrete walls. If you look at them, obviously they are taller than normal walls, and when you snap a roof to them, the roof snaps on the inside of the wall and not on top of it, which means it's not going to line up perfectly, and you're going to have some parts where it's just not going to work. Now, if I had Workshop Rearranged, that wouldn't be a problem. The roofs would just snap right through the concrete wall. But alas, we don't have that option on PS4, so what we're going to do first is snap roof pieces on top of the concrete walls where they are flush with no gaps. Now, I like to use warehouse floors as the ceiling. I don't know why, I just think it looks better. So to do that, and to place the ceiling above the concrete walls, I'm going to use an upper floor piece to start, then just snap the warehouse floors the rest of the way. Now you'll see that the warehouse floors are flush with concrete walls, but there's a gap between the other walls. Don't worry, I do fix that later. But for now, I'm just going to finish up the ceiling. Alright, so the ceiling is up, it's flush with the concrete walls, the doorways fit in just fine, which is going to be good for the rooms later on. Now to fix the gap on the other walls. So all I did was place another floor piece on top of the foundation. I just lined it up the best I could with the one below it, and then snapped out another floor to the wall. From here, if you select the wall and move it up a bit, it should snap to the higher floor piece, which raises the wall up. Then you can snap the other walls around the one that has just been raised. So all this is doing is relocating where the gap is. We're not going to keep these floors on top of the foundation. Those are just there to help us get the walls one floor space higher because that's the size of the gap we are working with. So I'm just going to do the same method all around the room. Okay, so the walls are in the exact same place, they're just raised up with the gap at the bottom, so to fix this we can go back to the USO tab and get out the half walls we used outside. Now you can use any of these walls you want, I'm going to use the white ones to demonstrate. As you saw before, these walls get very close to the other walls where you can basically place them inside of them. But we don't want to go that far, I want to place them just on the outside of the wall where it kind of looks like a nice trim. But if you use like the blue walls, they do blend in a little bit better, so it looks kind of like just like one wall. But I like the contrast. And as you saw on the tour, once you decorate everything, you really don't notice it too much. You don't really see the repetitive textures. And this is basically it. This is how you fix the gaps all around. You don't need place anywhere or the pillar glitch or the rug glitch. These walls will sit very close to anything, you just have to play around with them and make sure that you're mindful of the build order. Like with this end piece, I need to place this one first and then work my way out, which I do later on. Alright, so all the half walls are up for the most part. Now I just lined up another floor piece on top of the foundation. That way I can place the interior walls at the same level and then put the final half walls in. I'm going to do a mixture of concrete and white walls that we get with USO. Alright, just for the sake of not making this video incredibly long, I cut out the rest of the interior walls. I wanted you guys to see the hard part, which was getting the white walls in. After that, I just put in the half walls to cover up the gaps, and then the concrete walls just snapped into the floors with no issues. Keep in mind, the concrete walls should always be last to go in. They snap over just about anything. So for the last part, we're going to put in the top roof. We just need a half warehouse wall that snaps to the warehouse floor we use as a ceiling, which is another reason why I like using those as ceilings, and then snap another wall underneath that, and then finally a roof piece snaps to the lower wall. This roof is very similar to the one that I built in my last video of this series, only this time I'm not having it stick out over the windows, I'm making it flush with the walls. You can totally make this roof look like the one I did in my last video, I just wanted to change it up for you guys to give you more options. Alright, as that is finishing up is pretty much it for me. I hope you guys like this build, and as always, let me know what you think, and any questions you have, please let me know. I was very glad I was able to get this done and something out there for everyone to be able to build. I have so much respect for you guys building on PS4. It's definitely challenging not having all the tools available. I mean, this build took me a while to figure out how to do everything and just overcome the limitations. So much respect for you guys, but my next video and last in this series will be me building this without any mods. So vanilla, probably with DLCs. The whole point of these Sanctuary house builds is that I'm gearing up for my full-on Sanctuary build, which I'm going to use a lot of these houses in, and I figured it'd be much better to have individual videos showing you guys different ways to create these houses. Again, these are just templates, so if you don't like something that I did, you can always replace it with whatever you like. But thanks for watching, please give this video a like, and I will talk to you soon.